Pat Riley disappointed.
The Boston Celtics are the NBA World Champions.
I really cannot believe that they used to let this many people run on the stage, on the court like this, man. Let's get it. We back. We got the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird Courtship of Rivals Basketball, Part 3. So if you're new to the channel and you want to check out Part 2 and Part 1, go ahead and hit the playlist on my channel and then scroll down. And the last two videos you will see are the last two parts of this documentary. It's actually a very interesting and good documentary. It goes real into depth about Magic Johnson and Larry Bird from, high school through college. And now we basically in a rookie year right here where they've been going head to head. So yeah, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's your boy DtaeNoDinero, and I appreciate everybody that's already been coming back every day, watching the video, staying tuned in. I appreciate it. Keep sending the likes up. Let's try to get up to 15 likes again a day. We've been accomplishing that every day, so let's keep doing that. And I don't want to talk y'all heads up like always, man. I know we got a lot of video to go here, so let's get to this Part 3. Silly.
15 rebounds and 12 assists, and you go, man, the guy shot the ball 12 times and was the best player on the court by far.
But I think it was tough at first. I don't think either one of them wanted to recognize that they had any equal anywhere in what they did. But they sure as hell didn't want to recognize that their equal happened to be that other guy.
That's why we hated each other too, because we knew we were mirrors of each other.
I think for a while the two of them had to come to grips with that.
They had begun changing the game, but with continued low television ratings and tape-delayed finals, the league was struggling to get the word out. When the NBA and CBS signed a new TV deal before the 82-83 season, the rescue plan was simple: sell more Bird and Magic, and sell them not just as ball players, but as arch-rival characters in their own dramatic saga.
You got this slick Showtime African-American guy out west, and you got the lunch bucket.
Before the 82-83 season, the rescue
I don't
plan
know what
was
that's
simple.
about. It's the second time it
Sell
did that.
more Bird and Magic, and sell them not just as ball players, but as arch-rival characters in their own dramatic saga.
You got this slick Showtime African-American guy out west, and you got the lunch bucket, floppy-haired white guy with the bruises all over his body. It's central casting. It's perfect.
This was like made in heaven. In 1979, this idea of Magic and Bird was created, and so that was sort of a no-brainer. We'd have a doubleheader. It would be the Celtics playing first and the Lakers playing second, and that's the way we did it.
And when the Celtics and Lakers both reached the finals just a year into the new TV deal in 1984, it appeared the superstar investment was about to pay off.
It was huge. It was probably the biggest moment the NBA had up to that point. You had Boston and LA, East against West. It had all the elements of a classic showdown.
Including what was becoming the most inescapable element of all.
Did we know that blacks and whites were lining up, the whites with the Celtics, the blacks with... Of course we knew that.
Wow.
In the Celtics' own backyard.
They land at Logan Airport at the '84 finals. He's getting accosted by various people who are telling him Larry's going to take him down. But this one older African-American gentleman comes up to me and goes, "Magic, I want to wish you well. Good luck. I want you to crush the Celtics." And he said, "Oh, well, where are you from?" He said, "Well, I'm from Boston." And he said, "You're from Boston and you're rooting for the Lakers? I thought everybody here was crazy about the Celtics." And he looked right at me and said, "Now, why would I root for those white boys?"
Oh, man.
Boston, after all, was a town still scarred by the ugly busing crisis of the mid-'70s. A violent period of urban unrest during which white had been pitted against black. The resulting taint on the city nationally, coupled with a Boston roster littered with white players, affirmed to many black Americans that the Celtics were not the team for them.
Even today, people said, "You played with the Celtics, and I hated you at that time. I wanted Magic to win. I didn't want that damn Larry Bird to win. We had all these black players, but they looked at us because we had Larry Bird leading us as a team that was white."
Man, those were some wild days.
For what was becoming the biggest story in sports. But for the real-life players, the narrative was much simpler.
It's finally going to happen. We get to go head to head again. It's just a matter of rolling that ball out there and let's get it on.
Welcome then to the Boston Garden and the start of the NBA World Championship Series. I'm Brent Musburger. In each of the last 4 NBA World Championship Series, either Magic or Bird has competed. But this is the first time that the two have gone head-to-head for the title.
Man, we jumped out on them that first game, and we won in Boston.
And with less than a minute to go in Game 2, the Lakers were closing in on a commanding series lead.
Who was that, DJ?
From that point on, things began to crumble.
Down to 9 seconds. Magic holds the ball. Magic trying to work on Maxwell. Magic has still got it down to 2 seconds. 1 second. He's going to have to shoot it. He doesn't get it off. He doesn't get it off.
Cheesy Johnson dribbling the timeout. What are you doing?
The Lakers regained their stride in Game 3, only to be rudely knocked off it again in Game 4.
Whoa, remember that one.
Now let's watch it. Cooper and the Celtics, and now the bench is empty.
When Kurt Rambis got taken out, we started fighting instead of playing.
Kareem swings the elbow, and now is yelling at Larry Bird.
Larry ain't back down from nobody.
And it made us realize we were not mentally tougher than the Celtics.
Magic's just not himself.
To be sure they won't let the time run out as they did in Game 2. Harris steals the ball, and the Celtics call a timeout.
There were a number of places where, Irvin didn't do what people expected him to do.
Tied at 123. He misses the first. Johnson misses them both. Celtics want a timeout. Despondent, Magic Johnson goes to the bench.
We know how this play out. Larry.
Bird, turnaround.
Yeah. Man, what is those newspaper saying, man? The titles of those newspapers is crazy. What did it say?
He misses the first. Johnson misses them both. Celtics want a timeout. Despondent, Magic Johnson goes to the bench. Bird, turnaround, hits.
No Magic finish for Lakers. Johnson lets it get by again. Wow. They sure didn't know how to make a header. Didn't they? Violence in the playoffs. Yeah, man, I would have wished I could have read some of those. That was like TV back in the day, now that I think about it. I mean, I know they probably advertised some stuff on TV, but newspapers were still big back then. So people still read these every morning. This was like Netflix, Hulu.
Game 5 went to the Celtics. Game 6 to the Lakers.
And we're all the way to Game 7?
It's like 1979 all over again. Down to 1 game for Bird and Magic.
If everybody had to look at it, probably would have said this is going to be a 7-game series.
No, I thought we'd sweep them in 4, but just went a little bit longer. Now we just have to do it in 7.
That's the only time I ever felt that. There ain't no way they're walking out here with a win.
Magic Johnson.
No way.
Lakers had several chances, and here's Larry Bird. Down the court. Bird. How does he do it? Now Johnson with the ball. The Lakers trying to cut it to 1. And he loses it.
Pat Riley disappointed.
The Boston Celtics are the NBA World Champions.
I really cannot believe that they used to let this many people run on the stage, on the court like this, man. They don't. Y'all really. Some of y'all lived in. To be in the comments all the time. That's how I know. When I say y'all, I'm referring to y'all. Y'all talk about the times back in the day all the time, so I could tell y'all a little bit older than me. But y'all really lived in some crazy times, man. Like, not crazy, like wild crazy, but it was like it's too good to believe this. Like in today's date, like I couldn't imagine them letting the whole stadium crowd, the fans, run on the court. I couldn't. Like I couldn't imagine that. And they really. This is not the only game I watched that. Man, look how many people's out there, yo. It's like, yeah, it was really a family, a Boston family out there. At that point, it was like a Boston family reunion. Boston Celtics family reunion with the fans and the players and everybody involved. Go ahead, come on out. Everybody hug somebody. You know, you be in church and be like, look to your left, tell your neighbor, God is good. Type situation, man. Bro, that is like literally 15,000 people.
I pride myself in being the guy who's going to win it for us and deliver under pressure. And it didn't happen.
I hope he was hurting. Hope it killed him. He made some bad plays down the stretch, and nobody in there was happier than me. You know, not only winning the game makes you feel good, but just knowing the other guy's suffering, and you know he was.
I remember after the game that both he and I were in the showers crying.
Larry was waiting for that day to get that payback, something serious. I'm sorry to hear about Magic, you know, going through the downs and the dumps of losing, but he was already up 2-0 on Larry. He won a championship in college, and his first year in the league, he won a championship ring. So you already up 2-1 on Larry. So Larry really saying that, I really believe, like, yes, I got him finally. Yeah, he sad. He know how I feel. You know, like, I can only imagine it. And he not shy of biting his tongue talking about it neither, man. Shout out to Larry for really staying 10 toes down on trash talk. He not letting up on it. Even at what? He probably had to be like 60 when they did this documentary with 58 at the early. He wasn't letting up on that. That happened back when he was in his 20s. He did not care. I wanted him to feel that. I wanted him to be upset. I'm glad he cried in the bathroom. If you're still here, make sure you like the video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That way you don't miss part 4. You ain't seen part 2, part 1. Go to the playlist on the channel and check it out. Let's get it.
And stayed in there for about 35, 40 minutes. It was hard because not only had we lost to the Boston Celtics, he had lost to his nemesis, Larry Bird.
I think he just made me dislike him more, you know, because he was that good. And I think you be jealous. You jealous a little bit.
Larry, does this get you even with Magic for what happened between Michigan State and Indiana State all those many years ago?
Yeah, we're professionals now, but I won this one for Terre Haute.
Well, it was a big deal, and I remember asking Quinn Buckner about it afterwards. They had a celebration in downtown Boston after they won the championship, and, you know, it was unusual for Larry to have these little outbursts, as Quinn would call them. But, you know, about 11:30 at night, finally he turned to Quinn, he goes, I got him. I finally got him. And he was talking about Magic.
Silks Supreme.
The league.
That sounds like something that should be 8.
Game 7 of the '84 series was one of CBS's highest-rated telecasts of the year, and the highest-rated game the NBA had ever produced.
All of a sudden, whether it was at CBS or Madison
I'm
Avenue,
so sorry, y'all,
sports
bro.
writers
Hold
around-
on. Oh my soul, bro. Well, my bad, y'all. Wasn't expecting that. I'm gonna go back to where he said he won that for Terre Haute. Shout out Terre Haute, Indiana.
Won this one for Terre Haute.
Well, it was a big deal, and I remember asking Quinn Buckner about it afterwards. They had a celebration in downtown Boston after they won the championship, and, you know, it was unusual for Larry to have these little outbursts, as Quinn would call them. But, about 11:30 at night, finally he turned to Quinn. He goes, I got him. I finally got him. And he was talking about Magic.
The league was rejoicing too. Game 7 of the '84 series was one of CBS's highest-rated telecasts of the year, and the highest-rated game the NBA had ever produced.
All of a sudden, whether it was at CBS or Madison Avenue, the sports writers around the country became phenomenal. What is happening here? The absolute foundation in this resurgence was the Celtics and the Lakers, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
But Magic was in no mood to bask in the accomplishment.
I took a media beating. Tragic Magic. This is why we say Larry Bird is better. It's probably the first time ever in my life I was depressed. And I didn't want people to see me. It was something I never dealt with in my life.
That particular series, that championship series, redefined his whole career because he never stopped working after that.
Magic was on a mission to prove to himself and the world that with the ball in his hands, he was still the one in control. And after his Lakers ran through the '85 season, he quickly got what he wanted. Another shot at Bird and the Celtics.
They won the East, we won the West. So it's like everybody just get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy it.
But that smile belied the intensity of the
Whoa.
clash that awaited.
Who was that, James Worthy?
I had a glass of water, and any of those guys had been on fire. I would have drank the water and watched them.
They called us, chokers and sissies. We didn't like that, and they thought less of us. I knew they did.
In '85, we played them 4 times.
Did y'all see? And I think that before the pass, but y'all see how bad he flopped though, man? Like, come on, man. Legs all in the air, all of that extra stuff, man. He didn't booty bump. Pause. He didn't bump you that
In
hard.
the '85 season, he quickly got what he wanted. Another shot at Bird and the Celtics.
They won the East, we won the West. So it's like everybody just get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy it.
But that smile belied the intensity of the clash that awaited.
If I had a glass of water and any of those guys had been on fire, I would have drank the water and watched them.
Hey, I heard him say it the first time, but after watching, I think it was Bradley Cooper, the one that did it. He pushed Cedric Maxwell as he wanted for a layup. After hearing it and seeing it again, I know exactly why you feel that way. That was unnecessary, man. Extremely.
They called us, chokers and sissies. We didn't like that, and they thought less of us.
Watch how overdramatic this guy's being.
They did.
Just look at him. Like you could tell he's free falling right here.
In '85,
Like, come
we played
on,
4
man.
times in exhibition season for some reason. I don't know why they scheduled that. By the 4th game, there was an all-out brawl.
They call this one of the greatest rivalries in all of sport, the Celtics and the Lakers. And if that is true, it is the most one-sided rivalry in all of sports. 8 times these two have met for the NBA championship, and 8 times the Celtics have won.
Wow.
In his 6th year from Michigan State at number 32, Magic Johnson.
But in the '85 finals, Magic changed the script. Over 6 grueling games, he masterfully controlled the pace with all-around brilliance.
He has a triple-double again.
Behind their point guard, the Lakers finally knocked out the Celtics, winning the clinching game in the Boston Garden.
3 in 6 years. LA comes to Boston and wins the world title.
Redemption for one Magic Johnson. It's a long year last year to wait for this moment right now.
Magic had evened the score with Bird on the NBA floor, but the significance of their rivalry and their relationship was still just taking hold.
You crazy. I said, you're crazy. I'm not shooting no commercial with Larry. So I said, okay, what, we're gonna shoot it in LA?
I would never went to LA to film it.
Well, where are we gonna shoot it?
French Lick.
If you want to shoot a commercial, come to my house.
I was like, oh no.
one stoplight. And I thought Lansing was small.
One stoplight is crazy.
I'm going to go here, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm trying to get up out of here. My plan was that.
Even after Converse had convinced Magic and Bird to film a sneaker ad together in the summer of '85, a question remained. How would the two hated rivals on the court get along off of it?
I don't know how he's going to react. I don't know how I'm going to react. We didn't even shake hands, so how are we going to do a commercial together?
The ad was to be filmed at the home Bird had built for his mom. It featured a full-length basketball court, the Dae's first location.
So they say, okay, you're playing one-on-one, and I'm looking at Larry, and he's looking at me like, is this real? Are we playing? Because, you know, this is Magic and Bird.
I could just hear Larry, you know, starting in on, well, you bring it to the basket, and I'm going to send it 30 rows up.
So the guy was like, no, not like that. A fun game. We were both like, oh, okay. Like
They was
you
ready.
See this relief coming over both of our faces.
That brief détente led to the next stage, dialogue.
We sat down next to each other. How was your summer? Oh, it's going good. How was yours? It's going great. He said, man, it's a nice spread you got.
And he's asked me, is this where you play? I said, yeah, I play here if it's not windy. If it's raining or windy, I go to the gym. But this is where I do all my work.
I see that tractor. You work on the tractor? He said, man, I work on this tractor every day. Larry Bird work on a tractor? Yeah.
It's just them two walking and talking, and every once in a while they'd stop and one of them would say something, and then they'd start laughing.
Then they said, okay, break, it's lunch break time. I was going to my trailer. He said, no, my mother has prepared lunch for us up at the house.
Oh, yeah.
We went up to the house and we said,
Yeah, part of the family now.
My mom, my brothers, thought the world of him.
His mother was so nice, making sure I had enough to eat. I just saw my mother. It was crazy.
He charmed her. You can see it. But that's Magic. He makes everybody feel welcome and warm, and he's a con man.
And while Magic charmed Georgia Bird, it was someone else who intrigued her son.
He met Irvin at lunch.
Irvin is a good dude. I like Irvin a lot better than Magic.
I was just so happy to finally be Irvin with him.
Here they go.
Magic was like, I don't know if I want to get to know this guy. But Irvin got a chance to talk about family, how he grew up. We just became two relaxed guys, just talking.
That day was great. It was a great day. Beautiful day.
Still, for Bird, ever the competitor.
What they script say, Magic. That's just so I'm thinking this is the script. This is Magic. Well, they made a pair of Magic shoes for this year. Larry, okay, Magic, show me what you got. Hey, that's how the commercial went too, now that I think about it.
Competitor. That's all it was. Just one day.
Magic thinks the next year, okay, well, now we're great friends, so, you know, after the game, we're going to go out, we're going to have a beer, and Larry's like, no, you're right. I know you better. You're a good guy, but I still don't want anything to do with you.
He's a happy-go-lucky guy. If me and him got to be really good friends, go out on the court, he could still play the same game. I couldn't. I mean, that's just the way it is.
But when the ad hit the airwaves, for others, the perception changed.
I saw those limousines going through the cornfields, and I said, no. They didn't sell themselves out.
I heard Converse made a pair of Bird shoes for last year's MVP. Yep. But they made a pair of Magic shoes for this year's MVP.
Okay, Magic, show me what you got.
Well, this is really a business
Told
thing.
you.
The Bird shoe, the Magic shoe.
And maybe that's where the business thing started to get bigger and began to trump who they both really were.
It polarized the whole idea of lunch bucket versus Hollywood, white versus black. Just cemented all the differences between them.
Kids weren't wearing black gym shoes because they didn't want to be associated with the Larry Bird camp. You wore your white Converse.
The basketball rivals had morphed into cultural warriors, and race, more than ever, had become an unavoidable part of the conversation.
Yo!
But nothing about Bird and Magic had ever been as simple as black and white.
Anybody seen that movie called Do It the Right Thing? Doing the Right Thing or Do the Right Thing? Anybody see that movie? Please drop that in the comments if you ever seen that movie and what's it about. I might have to check it out. Look like it's funny.
Big reasons this rivalry became so emblematic of so many things is because it was an easy dichotomy for people to understand. But it's crazy to simplify it as saying white people like Bird and black people like Magic because 13% of the country is black. But it wasn't like 87% of basketball fans preferred the Celtics.
Who's your favorite basketball player? Magic Johnson. Who's your favorite movie star? Eddie Murphy. Pina, all you ever talk about is nigga this and nigga that. And all your favorite people are so-called niggas. It's different. Magic, Eddie, Prince are not niggas. I mean, they're not black. I mean, let me explain myself.
Has the N-word ever been used by a white person to describe Irvin? I doubt it.
But as Magic enjoyed his image as a crossover star, it was Bird, the one-time great white hope, who had further emerged as the polarizing racial figure, due in part to that era's increasingly conservative political climate.
The rolling back institutionally of the achievements of the civil rights movement were going on apace from about 1975 on. But the triumph of the movement that rolled it back took place in the 1980s. And I think there was people who were very aware in the black community of what was going on. And I think there was a lot of sublimated frustration. And I think one of the ways it got sublimated was into basketball. And I think Larry, through no fault of his own, was the receptacle within which the lingering resentments somehow floated.
And after Bird led the Celtics to the championship in 1986, his third in the pros, winning his third straight MVP award in the process, the resentment grew.
I always felt that the press was biased in favor of Larry Bird. It always felt to me like they were gonna make Larry the hero. You know, you'd see somebody score and Larry would be in a cast in a suit on the bench and they'd say, Larry Bird made that possible a couple weeks ago when he told that guy he could do it and he just did it. They gonna get his motherfucker the assist and he not in the game?
I can imagine it too. I can imagine an announcer just over there just giving Larry Bird the props. I can just imagine it. He's not making that up. Hey, even still in 2023, we still deal with race issues. But here on this channel, man, we don't bother like that bother. It's a free space. Y'all speak y'all mind, I speak mine. We don't see color. Color don't define you. Straight up, you know. Character defines you. Integrity it defines you. I just always have grown up and looked at the world differently. So I know people have their own different ways of living life culturally, but overall in general, I believe everybody's a human being and should be respected. We all bleed, we all dookie, we all gotta take a leak, and we all got families. So overall in general, nobody's truly better than the next. We know that, you know, certain opinions don't matter, but I'm just letting y'all know here on this channel, Dtae Reacts, DtaeNoDinero, man, y'all know how I'm living. So I appreciate everybody that always come back and comment. Be sure to like the video so more people can come in and join the family. And yeah, we're gonna start adding some more content, doing some other stuff to the channel too as well. So be sure to drop any videos anybody want me to check out. But let's get back to the video, y'all. We only got a few minutes left anyways.
Not to be racist, but we have a white guy who's the best in the world. It's predominantly a black sport now. And you got a guy like Larry Bird who can't run, who can't jump, but can do everything out there.
I don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean anything to me. It never has.
Respect.
I don't know why. I mean, am I doing something wrong here?
Bird may have sought to avoid the conversation entirely, but the more he won, the less he could escape it.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the Dtae, lays it in. What a play by Bird.
In 1987, after Boston beat the Detroit Pistons to advance to the finals for the fourth straight year, Pistons rookie Dennis Rodman called Bird overrated because he was white. His teammate Isaiah Thomas then chimed in with some thoughts of his own.
If he was black, he'd be just another good guy.
I can remember in the locker room, I think it was Jack McMullen came up to me and said, Isaiah just said, boom, 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 boom. And I go, so?
He didn't care. He didn't care. Everybody else around him cared very deeply in the days and weeks, as it turned out, ahead.
Well, on that note, y'all, that is part 3. Tomorrow will be part 4. Be the last video, so be sure to turn your notification bells on and tune in. It's your boy DtaeNoDinero. Drop some in the comments what y'all think about the video. A lot of different things that were said, but I don't know why they so caught up about race. To be honest with you, that's how it was supposed to be. If the whole aspect of playing basketball back then was about people that could dunk the ball and jump high and run fast and was extremely strong, and whatever the case may be, and that was what the major percentage of people were, like athletes were in the league, and they could have been of color. Of course, it's about time. It's about time we got a guy like Larry Bird coming around that ain't jumping higher than, Dominique Wilkins. He ain't shooting better than. Well, yes, he is shooting better than a lot of people. I ain't gonna cap to y'all. That man had that split cat on him. I ain't gonna cap. But y'all get where I'm going with it. It's about time. And the media was just doing what the media was doing in order to keep the money coming in. Because, if you really want to be honest about the whole situation, before Larry Bird, it was mainly all colored people in there doing their thing. You had good other people, white people in there doing good, Pete Maravich and so on and so forth. But we're talking about the money that they were making. They weren't making no money. They were basically saying basketball wasn't it wasn't bringing in no money. So you always got to go the money route, and this actually changed basketball for the better anyways. So shout out to Larry Bird for coming and bringing everything he brought to the NBA, with just his hard work, his work ethic, his understanding of, people and not of color. And, to the other people that was talking crazy, they was selfish. They was upset that they lost, and they was talking before they thought about it. They was talking before they truly thought about it. That goes for Dennis Rodman and Isaiah Thomas chiming in and saying this and saying that. Not saying that y'all was wrong, but some things are just better off not said. So it's your boy DtaeNoDinero. Drop something in the comment what y'all think about it. But other than that, be sure to turn notification bells on. Tomorrow we got part 4 coming. So you don't want to miss the last part. I don't either. Let's get it. Silly.